This is a world of cultivating immortals where ritual and music have collapsed. In order to compete for the fortune of heaven and earth, the beliefs of all beings, various immortal sects, great powers, and heavenly pride are all boasting wildly. Wang Xiu traveled through time and was bound to the boasting system. As long as you hear someone boasting, you can receive rewards and become stronger in place. Ding! Someone bragging has been detected. Congratulations to the host for gaining mana plus 99.99. Ding! Someone has been detected boasting. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the great dragon demon subduing golden body. Ding! Someone bragging has been detected. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Chaos Holy Communion. After tasting the sweetness, Wang Xiu began to mix up in various social occasions and make friends. As long as someone boasts, there will inevitably be Wang Xiu actively supporting and shouting 666 to give the other party face. She looks like an exiled fairy, loves to hear people talk big, and has a particularly sweet mouth. Gradually, Wang Xiu has become a coveted treasure in the entire cultivation world. Countless Jianjiao and Xianzi announced in public. Brother Wang, I covered it. Whoever bullies Brother Wang will be executed by the whole world. This situation has been going on for a long time. Until later. Wang Xiu accidentally punched him to death and led a massive invasion of billions of demon armies, pushing the 9 holy lands of the Shura evil emperor horizontally. The atmosphere suddenly became subtle. P.S. This book is also known as Support, I Am Professional. Brother Wang likes to hear me brag. That's my own brother. This fierce beast, Brother Wang, run away. Crouching slot. 5 unparalleled companies, Brother Wang's bunker. The clown is actually me. Keep bragging. Brothers, why don't you brag? Keywords of the novel. Talking about boasting, why do you really have the talent of a great emperor? No pop-ups, it's easy to boast. Why do you really have the talent of a great emperor? Download the complete set of TXT. You can talk big, why do you really have the talent of a great emperor? Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Rewards. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Rewards. Spring has arrived. All things are revived. It's the season for animals to breed again. Roof branches. From time to time, you can see birds overlapping, their wings chirping together, and their voices are high-pitched. Street. The butcher chops meat, the vendors shout, the martial artists perform, and the prostitutes attract customers, creating an incredibly lively scene. Suddenly, whispers echoed from the streets and alleys. Look! It's him, the little Taoist of Sanqing immortal sect. I heard he spent at least 100 taels of silver yesterday in Dongjifang City. Yeah, yes. The masterly who performed the flying knife stunt received a reward of over 50 taels. This is the wealthy man, no. God of wealth. Countless scorching gazes cast in the direction of the sound. But at the end of the street, a young man with tied hair walked with unrecognized steps. He has fair skin and extraordinary elegance, wearing a Taoist robe with embroidered patterns of blue clouds and white cranes on the collar and collar. Exquisite temperament, unparalleled in the world. Anyone who sees it can't help but sigh, what a graceful and beautiful young man. More importantly, at the chest of the young Taoist robe, he was wearing a purple and gold medal, engraved with 3 towering peaks standing side by side. It is the emblem of a disciple of the Sanqing immortal sect. The color of the coat of arms varies depending on the level of the disciples. The emblem worn by the named disciple is blue, the official disciple is silver, and the inner disciple is gold. And this purple golden coat of arms. Only the most esteemed true disciples of the Sanqing immortal sect can be granted the right to wear it. That is to say, this young man, who appears to be only 14 or 15 years old, has been promoted to the level of a true disciple in the Sanqing immortal sect, and his future is limitless. Boss. Wang Xiu stood in front of a pork stall on the street, smiling and asking, "Is your meat fresh?" The butcher grinned and said, "Little Taoist, look at what you're saying. How could it not be fresh? Just slaughtered this morning, the pig blood is still hot. Gaga, it's fresh." The butcher's words have just finished. In Wang Xiu's mind, a clear prompt sound rang out. Ding, detected someone boasting, "Congratulations to the host for gaining mana +1. The young man's face showed a mocking expression. "Oh. Really? I don't believe it." The butcher blushed and defended himself, "Little Taoist, it's not me bragging to you. My house is full of genuine free-range mountain pigs, eating wild grass and berries. They run around in the forest and grass, even more agile than rabbits. Catch on the same day, slaughter on the same day, sell on the same day. Meat quality, absolutely top quality." Ding, detected someone boasting, "Congratulations to the host for gaining mana +1. Interesting." Wang Xiu smiled brightly and said, "Since the meat is so excellent, I will buy it for 20 pounds to taste. I want 10 pounds of lean meat for Saozi, don't see any fat at all. Cut 10 pounds of fat into minced meat, don't see any lean meat. How about the boss personally handling the knife?" This. Upon hearing this strange request, the butcher's face instantly collapsed and he finished chopping 20 pounds of minced meat. He estimated that he would have a hard time carrying the bowl in the next few days. However, if we can make the little Taoist happy, any procurement business that leaks out of the Sanqing immortal sect in the future will be enough for him to eat like oil. "Don't worry, Taoist. I'll cut it for you now, making sure it looks beautiful." Seeing the butcher chopping meat with a grunt, Wang Xiu smiled contentedly and continued to stroll along the street. "Boss, are your wooden carvings good? It's not me boasting to you, little Taoist. These are all top quality sandalwood, finely carved by famous masters, and even blessed by Taoist masters. Look at this statue of the old gentleman, with a purple aura coming from the east and a fairy-like aura floating in the air. Just like you, the Taoist priest, you are peerless and extraordinary. If you invite him back, you will surely receive the protection of the Taoist ancestors, and the immortal path is limitless." Ding, detected someone boasting, "Congratulations to the host for gaining mana +1. Well done. I'll take it, wrap it up for me." "Boss, are your pancakes good?" "Little Taoist, it's not that I'm boasting to you. I'm a well-known brand of Dalong's pancakes that have been around for decades and are widely recognized for their fragrance. When my family was young, she was known as the most beautiful woman in the 10 miles and 8 rural areas. She ate my cake, and from then on, she deeply rooted in love and devoted herself wholeheartedly. Would you like to try it?" Ding, detected someone boasting, "Congratulations to the host for gaining mana +1. Cough, give me a try. Also, many people have praised that your wife is really great. Master, isn't it painful for you to have a big stone in your chest?" "It's not that I'm bragging to you, little Taoist. When I was young, I apprenticed at the Great Diamond Temple and passed on the unique skill of the town sect, the iron cloth shirt. It's impenetrable with weapons, water and fire, and it's just a small piece of stone on my chest that's just a piece of fur. Give me a few more years to cultivate this unique skill to perfection. When that happens, let alone shatter a big stone in my chest, even a golden spear shattering a big stone is just a matter of one's own hands." Ding, detected someone crazily boasting and triggering a critical blow, reaching the system's high slot. "Congratulations to the host for obtaining mana +3 and mana quality +3. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the perfect experience card for, the Great Dragon subdues the demon golden body, good job. As a reward." Wang Xiu took out a large ingot, weighing over 20 taels, and stuffed it into the hands of the warrior. Suddenly, The eyes of other merchants turned red. The already noisy atmosphere has become even more lively. Sister, why are your pectoral muscles more developed than the master who smashed big stones? The little Taoist is really bad. I am much more interesting than those big and rough people. Do you want to experience it, young master? Oh. Is that sister good at boasting? It's not me boasting to you. The girls in our warm fragrance pavilion are all talented and proficient in everything. Poetry serves as evidence. In the capital, there are those who have good oral skills, and from then on, the king did not court early. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana +1. Bang with waves of massive and pure magic emerging in the dantian. Wang Xiu only felt a layer of invisible barrier inside her body burst open, and her own cultivation also climbed to a new level. Spitting out a mouthful of turbid air, Wang Xiu's eyes were filled with satisfaction. Finally, we have broken through to the second heaven of building foundations. Sure enough. Hard work is useless, opening up is the hard truth. 15 years ago. Wang Xiu traveled through this world of cultivation and, as a newborn orphan, was carried back to the Sanqing immortal sect by Master Qin. Becoming the true disciple of the Sanqing immortal sect and the Lingue peak hexagram. It is a bit far-fetched to say that he is the eldest disciple of the true transmission, because the entire Lingue peak hexagram meridian consists of only the palm meridian Luo Binglan and the true transmission eldest disciple Wang Xiu. Besides that, chickens and dogs do not stay. As for the grand branch of the Sanqing immortal sect, why has it fallen to only 1.5 big cats and kittens? It's a long story that goes back 800 years. 900 years ago. The Sanqing immortal sect is the strongest immortal sect in China, holding the ox ear of the immortal alliance and commanding the world. 360 immortal peaks and 360 traditions. No matter what system of top-notch inheritance you want to cultivate, you can almost find it in the Sanqing immortal sect. And the hexagram pulse. I majored in divination, claiming to be able to calculate all the heavenly secrets, and belong to a transcendent existence in various branches. At its peak, it even ranked first among the peaks. Command the pulse, the scenery is unparalleled. But all of this. It all changed completely 860 years ago. That year. The seal on Donghaingma Island was destroyed, and a million-demon army broke through the seal and invaded the Middle-earth Shenzhou. Immortal Alliance Decree. The various factions in Shenzhou gathered strong individuals and joined forces in the East China Sea to fight against the Demon Clan. Before leaving, the head of Sanqing asked the head of the hexagram peak to personally divine a hexagram. Is it good or bad to go to the East China Sea? That night, the first peak of the hexagram peak almost depleted its lifespan. The head was covered in green silk and turned into white snow. Finally, it was calculated that this battle was a great victory. The three pure immortals sect generals swept the demons and erected the supreme authority, and all the immortals came to court. Master Sanqing is overjoyed. So he led nearly 80% of the elite members of the Sanqing immortal sect to the East China Sea to fight against the Demon Clan, which was a fierce and arrogant person with a fiery aura even more arrogant than the Demon Clan. The ideal is very fulfilling, but the reality is very bleak. The entire army of 100,000 elite disciples was destroyed, along with the leaders of Sanqing and 69 Earth Immortals who crossed the tribulation period, all of whom sacrificed their lives. The entire Sanqing immortal sect fell directly from the strongest sect of the Immortal Alliance to the second batch. Years later, he was even retaliated by the Demon Clan, with 100,000 demon clans launching a surprise attack on the Sanqing Immortal Gate, instantly shattering the entire mountain gate. The small world of Dongtian was exiled into the endless void, with 360 main peaks destroyed and 324 peaks destroyed. Hundreds of spiritual stone veins have been almost destroyed. Blood flows into a river, and life is charred. If it weren't for the help of other immortal sects, we would have almost destroyed them directly. Until now. After more than 800 years of concealing oneself, the Sanqing immortal sect still hasn't recovered its strength, and even half of its combat power during its heyday has not been restored. Almost everyone believes that. The miscalculation of the first hexagram in the hexagram peak is the fundamental reason for the severe damage to the sect's vitality and the revenge of the demon clan. Over 100,000 disciples died in battle, and hundreds of lineages were cut off. For 800 years. Endless anger poured towards the hexagram meridian, causing it to gradually decline. From being bustling with customers and bustling with homes, to being surrounded by cool tea leaves and sparse doors, only Luo Binglan and Wang Xiu remain today. Originally. As the granddaughter of the previous head of the hexagram, Luo Binglan is determined to revitalize the hexagram. Naiha. This girl is born with a worldview, she either doesn't speak up when she sees everyone cold and indifferent. The opening is, I see that your printing hall has turned black, and I'm afraid there might be a disaster of blood and light. The major branches of the Sanqing immortal sect are all unlucky when their disciples see her, and they even carry machetes to fight against her. As a result, he really started to fight and was instantly knocked down by this girl, bleeding uncontrollably. Beat him up. This guy confidently said, look, I'll just say you have a bloody disaster. Hate value, fill up in place. P.S. Welcome everyone to leave comments and suggestions, book reviews and paragraph reviews. The author will read them. P.S. Division of cultivation levels. Refining chi. Building foundation. Forming pills. Golden pill, immortal. Yuanying, venerable. Exiting the body, great ability. Xiansheng, holy. Crossing calamity, earth immortal. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. This place is bustling with Taoist priests, and even the Ghost King's liver trembles. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. This place is bustling with Taoist priests, and even the Ghost King's liver trembles. 9 years ago. After divining at Lingue Peak, Luo Binglan ran excitedly to Ingma Island in the East China Sea, saying that she wanted to find some super great opportunity. As a result, he plunged his head into the stronghold of the demon clan and was surrounded by more than 10 old demons during the period of manifestation. That battle was already brutal. The female overlord of Lingue Peak, who claimed to be invincible against her peers, was beaten to the point where she lost half of her life and almost all of her longevity. She fought desperately to escape through a bloody path. After returning, he plunged his head into the coffin and buried himself in the ancestral tomb pile behind Lingue Peak, sleeping soundly to recuperate. From then on, no one has ever seen Luo Binglan appear again. Even Wang Xiu can only chat with Master Cheap every year during the Qingming festival when he goes to the grave to burn paper. I usually feel like an orphan, completely unable to contact each other. Regarding this, countless people clapped their hands and called out, mourning. This has also made the reputation of the hexagram meridian even worse than before. This pulse. Be ruthless and even make a fool of yourself. Carrying the title of Great Disciple of the True Transmission of the Hexagram Vein, Wang Xiu's treatment in the Sanqing immortal sect can be imagined. Dad doesn't hurt, grandma doesn't love. Apart from receiving a monthly spiritual stone subsidy, there is almost no guidance or treatment that other true disciples deserve. After all, we can't just dig out cheap master from our ancestral tomb every time we encounter a bottleneck in our cultivation. That's a bit presumptuous. In this orphan-style, complete free range, Wang Xiuzu was at the age of 15, and his cultivation had only reached the 7th level of qi refining. Among the true disciples of the Sanqing immortal sect, he is considered the tail of a crane. Fortunately, half a month ago, Wang Xiu bound the system. After binding the system, as long as you hear someone boasting around you, you can directly receive various rewards and continuously improve your cultivation strength. This is not. In just half a month, Wang Xiu rose from the 7th level of qi refining to the 2nd level of building foundations. It can be said. This breakthrough speed, even if you look at the entire Sanqing immortal sect, and even the entire cultivation world. It's also quite explosive. Buzz. Just as Wang Xiu was consolidating her cultivation and preparing to continue shopping and brushing, the messenger jade talisman in her waist vibrated. Sacrifice. Wang Xiu took down the messenger jade talisman and struck a spell. Suddenly, a clear light shot out from the jade talisman and transformed into a half-foot square Xuanguang magic mirror in front of Wang Xiu. In the Xuanguang mirror, the woman with a cold temperament said helplessly, "Junior brother Wang Xiu, if you don't go back to the mountain, you will be judged as a failed mission." For 800 years. The world is not peaceful, and the righteous and the demonic cultivators are constantly fighting and fighting. In places far from the influence of the immortal sect, massacres and extermination of families often occur. The Sanqing immortal sect stands tall in Lujian County, Nanzhou. Its path is to carry a sword to save the people, and to eliminate evil, one must do everything. Even if one's strength is severely damaged, they remain steadfast in their determination. This belief has made the Sanqing immortal sect resentful and targeted by countless evil demons and outsiders. For hundreds of years, countless disciples of the Sanqing immortal sect have been attacked and retaliated against by demons while going down the mountain for training. Therefore, any disciple of the Sanqing immortal sect who goes down the mountain for training will basically accompany them, and after completing the task, they will be required to return to the mountain as soon as possible to avoid encountering danger at the foot of the mountain. However, as an orphan player in the Lingue Peak hexagram, it is impossible for Wang Xiu to carry her master's coffin down the mountain. Plus, the disciples of other branches also keep a respectful distance from the hexagram and are completely unwilling to communicate with it, let alone practice with Wang Xiu. Therefore, in order to hear others boasting, Wang Xiu had to run alone to the foot of the mountain to score points. I dare not be too far away from the immortal sect in terms of experience range. Basically, they are all in towns near Xianmen. No matter how rampant the demons and evil spirits are, they will never dare to act recklessly in these towns. After all, after the massive collapse of the Lingxi mineral veins, the elders and disciples of the Sanqing immortal sect were on the verge of poverty. A spirit stone needs to be broken into 2 petals of flowers. Seeing demons and evil spirits is like seeing walking bounties, spirit stones, and sect contribution points, with green eyes shining and roaring forward. This kind of place where Taoist priests are disturbed. The Ghost King is here and his liver is trembling. Sacrifice. Hanging off the Xuanguang mirror, Wang Xiu pinched the technique with her hand, and a burst of green light shot out from her sleeve. Transformed into a palm-sized turtle shell, it spun rapidly in front of me. As it continued to rotate, its volume rapidly increased in just a few breaths, and in the blink of an eye, it was already the size of a grinding disc. Wang Xiu leaped up and sat on this turtle shell. Shoo! Next second, the turtle shell soared into the sky with a whoosh, transforming into a green light that pierced through the sky, so fast that one could not even see the remnants. Xuanwu Jian. The protective tool left for Wang Xiu by Master Cheap before his burial, although only of the highest level, is capable of flying at a speed comparable to many spiritual tools. The blue energy consumption is still low, making it an absolute best choice for home travel and mountain training. Half a pillar of incense. Wang Xiu's turtle shell is parked in front of the mission hall, which is the busiest place in the entire Sanqing immortal sect, with countless people flowing every day. Senior Sister Qingyu, I'm here to hand in the task. Wang Xiu walked up to the task counter and smiled, taking out the task scroll and a delicate jade box. Senior Sister, this is something I found at the foot of the mountain, it's not worth much money. But you must look really nice wearing it, it's not worth it to be mesmerized. Say it. He opened the jade box and found several exquisite jade hairpins, rouge, jade pestles, etc. inside, without any spiritual energy fluctuations. For practitioners, their value is indeed not high. However, the shapes of these jewelry are indeed exquisite and look like they have been carefully selected. Just your sweet mouth. I don't know how many ignorant girls I've deceived outside. The true disciple Xiao Qingyu covered his mouth and smiled softly, looking at the 15-year-old younger martial brother who has been rated as the first one among the true disciples by numerous sisters. I feel both happy and angry in my heart. According to the rules of the task hall, when a true disciple accepts a task in the task hall, it must be received by Xiao Qingyu, who is also a true disciple. But what tasks does Wang Xiu, as a true disciple, take on every day? Help the Zhang family watch feng shui. Help the Li family with their affairs. Can you help the Lu family calculate their marriage relationship? Can you help the Zhao family test their 8 characters? Although in the past few hundred years, the sect has been facing financial difficulties. Leaders call self-sufficiency, diligence and wealth. Making money is not shabby. Even funerals, feng shui, marital relationships, and sacrifices that were previously disliked are now all welcomed by everyone. Even if your price is high enough, it is not impossible to have a group of Sanqing Taoists wield swords to cheer you up at the wedding, and the 5 elements thunder will serve as fireworks for you. But where do you need to be a true disciple to complete these tasks? Just send 1 or 2 named disciples to the sect, isn't that enough? Tang Tang San Qing Zhen Zhuan, why can't we capture a demon and surrender a demon or something? According to feng shui, calculate the 8 characters. Not only does it lower the power of the true disciples of Sanqing immortal sect, but it also seriously lowers the power price. And every time completing a task, Wang Xiu would linger at the foot of the mountain and delay returning to the sect. Sometimes Xiao Qingyu doesn't send a message to remind him, he just drags on until the task is overdue. Good guy. It's okay if you can't get the reward yourself, even Xiao Qingyu has to be affected. After all, as a task issuer, assign appropriate tasks to appropriate disciples. This is also Xiao Qingyu's responsibility. Every time a task fails, it has an impact on Xiao Qingyu's resume. If there is unexpected failure due to the difficulty of the task, it is easy to say, but Wang Xiu went down the mountain to give people a figure 8 and see feng shui. This task failed due to overdue payment. It's so funny. Xiao Qingyu seriously suspected that this guy's mission down the mountain was fake, purely because he felt bored on the mountain and went to the world of flowers to indulge in debauchery. After all, as is well known, the Sanqing immortal sect provides subsidies for various branches. Although the subsidy for Lingue Peak is very small, with only 100 spiritual stones per month, about 10 taels, he cannot withstand the hexagram pulse alone. This kid. If you don't do anything every month, you can get 10 liang of spirit stones and easily exchange them for 100 liang of gold and 1,000 liang of silver. It can be said that you are extremely rich. If you really want to give up on yourself, it's enough to be carefree and happy at the foot of the mountain for a lifetime. After several overdue payments, the authentic disciple Xiao Qingyu has developed a habit through hard work. That's to check Wang Xiu's task schedule before starting work every day. If it's almost overdue, send a message directly. Urge him to return to the mountain and hand over the task. Good guy. Her mother has never been so proactive in urging her father to go home and pay the public grain. Senior sister. Wang Xiu chuckled and said, "Do you still have any tasks for nearby towns? It would be best to do things like feng shui, tomb relocation, and testing the 8 characters. I'm more interested in these." Interested. Xiao Qingyu rolled her beautiful eyes and said, "There are tasks, but you can't go down the mountain for the next 2 days." Wang Xiu was stunned and said, "Why?" Xiao Qingyu joked, at the once every 3 years disciple recruitment conference, all major branches are required to raise flags and recruit students at the Qiaodao peak. You are the only unique seedling in the hexagram lineage. Who will you not join? Recruitment Conference. Upon hearing these 4 words, Wang Xiu's face collapsed and she said, "Can we not go?" At the Triennial Recruitment Conference, Wang Xiu has been representing the hexagram meridian to recruit people since the age of 6, and 3 years later, 9 years. Not a single newcomer was recruited, but instead, they were constantly pointed at by disciples from other branches. This activity, Te Miao, is simply seeking to suffer. Xiao Qingyu's eyes were filled with sympathy. I understand your difficulties, but this is something that cannot be done. After all, you also don't want the sect to ban the hexagram meridian and deprive you of a monthly subsidy of 100 spirit stones. His Wang Xiu, whose body trembled, and he smiled even more unsightly than crying. Thank you for reminding me, senior sister. I understand now, he said. Make money. Not shabby. Xiao Qingyu smiled and patted Wang Xiu's shoulder, saying, actually, the recruitment conference is all about various branches boasting and deceiving cute new disciples. You can blow up the cowhide a bit, maybe you can trick a few new disciples into accompanying you to Lingue Peak. Ha ha ha. In Wang Xiu's mind, it seemed as if a thunderbolt had struck him. Senior sister, what did you just say? Xiao Qingyu was stunned for a moment and said, how many new disciples are you fooling to accompany you to Lingue Peak? Wang Xiu. No, the previous sentence. Xiao Qingyu couldn't help but laugh and cry. The recruitment conference is nothing more than various branches boasting and deceiving cute new disciples. Is it just various branches deceiving new disciples and boasting wildly? Pretty in Wang Xiu's eyes, an unprecedented radiance and enthusiasm burst forth. This conference sounds very exciting. I'm on fire. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Everyone is a talented person, and their speech sounds good. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Everyone is a talented person, and their speech sounds good. The next day. Sanqing Immortal Sect, seeking Dao Peak. 5,000 young people who passed the assessment stepped onto the peak, and 30.6 hunting flags came into view. Dan my registration office, Qi my registration office, Array registration office, Sword Pulse registration office, Fang my registration office, attached. Master of authentic Taoist secret techniques in the room, lie flat and cultivate immortals, endless happiness. Fu my registration office, Lay my registration office, E my registration office, attachment. For those who major in Yin Dao and are admitted to the top 10, an additional Yin Jing volume will be provided. Dao my registration office, Sword Pulse registration office, Ya my registration office, attachment. Only admit good demons with gentle personalities, those with good appearance and appearance will be given priority. My Chow registration office, Dad, Mom, the child has finally passed the exam. 3 years later, 9 years later. God knows how hard I work. Fang Mai, I'm here. The Fang pulse is certainly attractive, and other veins also have their own unique strengths, as long as it is not a hexagram pulse. It's extremely extreme, as long as it's not a hexagram pulse, any pulse is very good. Seeking Dao Peak. Northwest corner. Wang Xiu sat cross-legged on a futon, closing her eyes and recuperating. Beside him stood an old flag, and one could vaguely see the words, Guamai, which were filled with dust. Good handsome senior brother, I'm crazy. Can one become the same junior sister as this senior brother by joining the hexagram pulse? Sister, let's join the hexagram pulse. Are you crazy? Do you know how many pits there are in the hexagram meridian? Stay away from it in a playful way. Listening to the noisy discussions coming from all around. Wang Xiu didn't even open his eyes, because he had been listening to this kind of discussion for more than a decade and had already seen it as a normal thing. It's also normal, after all, for the vast majority of people, choosing a profession is a lifelong matter. Worshipping the hexagram peak. It is equivalent to cutting off one's future in cultivating immortality, as it is impossible for anyone with normal intelligence to make such a choice. Fortunately, he didn't come to the recruitment conference this time to join the fun, nor was it for the purpose of recruiting new members. Think of it here. Wang Xiu opened her eyes and took out a handful of melon seeds from her pocket, nibbling on them while looking at other enrollment points. Those places. The bustling, bragging competition has already begun. Senior brother, what are the advantages of your Dan veins? That's not me boasting to you. Junior sister, our Dan meridian is definitely the strongest branch in the Sanqing immortal sect, and none of them. Firstly, where is the residence of our Dan Mai? Yujing Peak. The head of the Sanqing meridians, besides the Sanqing Hall where the leader is located, belongs to our Yujing Peak, which has the strongest spiritual energy and the most complete cultivation facilities. And we Dan Mai disciples don't need to go down the mountain to subdue demons, it's absolutely safe. We just need to stay comfortably on the mountain to refine medicine, and don't have to do dirty or tiring work. It's absolutely right for a little girl like you, junior sister, to join our elixir and easily reach the pinnacle of life. Stay on the mountain for a few years and become a little rich woman in the cultivation world. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana +6. Pushi listening to the words of the disciple of Yujing Peak next door, Wang Xiu couldn't help but smile. Dan Mai. It is indeed the most powerful spiritual energy among the major branches, and there is no need to do dirty or tiring work. But, absolutely safe. You can stay on Yujing Peak for a few days and listen to the explosions of the various alchemy furnaces in the rooms. I know that alchemists are definitely not a safe profession, after all. Explosives are also medicine. And the current leader of the Sanqing immortal sect is a skilled bargain hunter. Every now and then, he looks for the head of the Yujing Peak and cries for poverty. The supply prices of those pills within the sect are about to drop into a big cabbage. The first peak of Yujing Peak, so angry that I stomp my feet every day. Every now and then, speak harshly and say that if the leader bullies others too much, he will sell it himself. Selling buttocks is better than selling medicine in a sect. Senior brother, what advantages do your vessels have? That's not me bragging to you. Junior sister, our Chi Mai is definitely the strongest branch in the Sanqing immortal sect, there's no one. Firstly, where is our vessel base located? Yushu Peak. The head of the Sanqing meridians, besides the Sanqing Hall where the leader is located, belongs to our Yushu Peak, which has the strongest spiritual energy and the most complete cultivation facilities. And our Chi Mai disciples don't need to go down the mountain to subdue demons, it's absolutely safe. We just need to stay comfortably on the mountain to refine weapons, and don't have to do dirty or tiring work. Also, Dan Yao is a continuous consumable, while magic tools can last for a long time. So our alchemists' work intensity is much easier than that of alchemists, but their income is not inferior at all. It can be said that with more money, the job is good. It's absolutely right for a little girl like you, junior sister, to join our pulse and easily reach the pinnacle of life. Stay on the mountain for a few years and become a little rich woman in the cultivation world. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana +6. Pushi listening to the words of the disciple of Yushu Peak next door, Wang Xiu couldn't help but smile. Really, pills are continuously consumed, while magic tools can last for a long time. The problem is, the magical tool is very durable. The disciples of the Sanqing immortal sect have damaged their magical tools, and they all need to go to Yushu Peak to find disciples from the Qi Maiden to repair them. This task is not easy. Most absurdly, the leader of Mount Sanqing discussed with the head of Yushu Peak and finally made an agreement. But for those who purchase magic tools inside the door, the maintenance cost of subsequent magic tools will be 50% off. Good guy. Excluding the cost of repair materials and spiritual energy consumption, it is basically equivalent to a free warranty, generating power for love. Senior brother, what are the advantages of your formation pulse? That's not me bragging to you. Junior sister, our formation is definitely the strongest branch in the Sanqing immortal sect, there's no one. Firstly, where is the base of our formation? Yuhua Peak. The head of the Sanqing meridians, besides the Sanqing Hall where the leader is located, belongs to our Yuhua Peak, which has the strongest spiritual energy and the most complete cultivation facilities. And our formation, which has emerged from this lineage, can double the team's combat capabilities and is known as the core of the team. As long as we have experience, we will definitely be the team's favorite. Once encountering evil spirits, everyone in the team will do their best to protect you, absolutely safe. Ding, detected someone boasting wildly, triggered a critical blow, reaching the system's high slot. Congratulations to the host for gaining mana plus 18 and mana quality plus 18. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the perfect experience card for the For Symbols Guardian and Demon Slaying formation. Pushi listening to the words of the disciple of Yushu Peak next door, Wang Xiu couldn't help but smile. The core of the team is right, and the team pet is also right. But why do all teammates protect you? Because the enemy will gather fire on you in the first place. Just kidding. Dancing with the tip of a knife, bouncing at the grave, it's so exciting. And that vein. Hee hee. You wouldn't think that just getting started would allow you to practice directly. Do you have a Taoist couple? Do you know how exaggerated the ratio of male and female disciples in Fangmai is? Do you know how the term mortgage slave comes from? Do you know what waiting for good news is? Are you eager to see through? Listening to the disciples from various branches around, boasting in a flashy way. Feeling the explosive growth of magic in her body, Wang Xiu's face seemed calm, but her heart was filled with joy. Sure enough. The cultivators still have to brag and give generous rewards. Sanqing Immortal Sect, the disciples of the 36 Peaks. Everyone is talented. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. What? Surprisingly, someone wants to join the hexagram meridian. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. What? Surprisingly, someone wants to join the hexagram meridian. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana plus 6. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana plus 6. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana plus 6. In my mind, the system prompts sound repeatedly. Soon. Wang Xiubian felt that the magic power in the Dantian was full, and once again pierced a layer of mysterious membrane. Foundation period. Triple day. Xuan, you should know that Wang Xiu just broke through to the second day of foundation construction yesterday, and according to estimates, he will have to spend at least 10 or 8 days on it. Cultivation is the key to breaking through once again. Unexpectedly, the brothers of various pulse masters at the recruitment conference boasted that being a bully was even stronger than being a 6 bully, and they directly provoked him to the 3 heavens. It's like a spiral takeoff. To be honest, if it weren't for the unpopular hexagram meridian, the other branches would be far away from him. Wang Xiu wants to send some fruit tea to those senior brothers. Excuse me. Is this the new point of hexagram pulse technique? Just as Wang Xiushua was getting ready, a crisp voice rang out. This is a girl. She looked about 13 or 14 years old, dressed in a water-green long skirt, with a delicate and elegant appearance, and a pure and flawless gaze, like an elf girl walking out of the deep mountains and valleys. When people look at it, they can't help but feel pity. On the girl's left wrist, there is a string of jade small bells hanging, with clear light flowing under the sunlight, which is very beautiful. It's her. Jiuli, a genius girl with top-grade water spirit roots. This kind of qualification can steadily enter the ranks of inner disciples even in the upper 3 meridians, and there is even a chance to compete for the position of true transmission in the lower branches. Why did she go to the Guamai? Is it difficult for her to join the Guamai? Since ancient times, beautiful girls are the absolute focus of the crowd, especially girls like Jiuli who are pure, lovely, and have excellent qualifications. That is the most perfect Taoist couple in the hearts of countless arrogant people, an absolute dream lover. At this point, seeing Jiuli approaching the hexagram meridian, the recruiting disciples from 4 or 5 branches around quickly gathered around. Calm down. Linger junior sister, calm down. This hexagram pulse doesn't interest you. This lineage has been rated as a shame of the 3 cleanliness. Maybe it will be banned at some point. Joining the hexagram lineage is a complete waste of time and talent. Linger junior sister, why don't you join us on the Fumai? Danchin calligraphy is the perfect match for you. What kind of ghostly talisman? Or is our vocal system more suitable for Linger junior sister, Chin, say, Pipa, Shao, Di, Swona? What can cultivate sentiment more than music? The girl turned a deaf ear to the solicitation of other branches. She looked at Wang Xiu curiously and said, Senior brother, aren't you angry that they belittle the hexagram pulse so much? To belittle. Over the years, I have become accustomed to listening. Wang Xiu smiled faintly and said, Why are you angry? They're all telling the truth. My hexagram pulse is declining. Nowadays, in these Sanqing immortal sect, it is indeed the weakest branch and may be banned at any time, far less powerful than other branches. Junior sister. I suggest you add strong branches such as talismans and sounds, as they are more suitable for you. The words have just finished. The disciples of the Yin and Fu meridians all had smiles on their faces. Even the look in Wang Xiu's eyes didn't seem so repulsive anymore. This senior brother Wang from the hexagram veins is quite sensible. Jiuli was stunned and said, Since the hexagram meridian is declining, why doesn't senior brother switch to other branches? Isn't it possible to switch to other branches of the Sanqing immortal sect? Change branches. The support subsidies for other branches cannot fall into my hands. Say it again. If I switch branches, Master's grave will explode on the same day. The consequence is to destroy the heavens and the earth. Wang Xiu sighed and said, I am different from my junior sister. I have been adopted by my master since childhood and grew up on Lingue Peak. For me, the hexagram meridian is not only a disciple, but also a family. A son doesn't mind his mother's ugliness, a scholar doesn't mind his family's poverty, and a gentleman doesn't forget his roots. No matter how desolate this hexagram is, I can never abandon it. Son doesn't mind mother's ugliness. A scholar doesn't mind being poor at home. A gentleman never forgets his roots. Hiss. As soon as Wang Xiu finished speaking, his disciples from various branches around him were all in awe, and a sympathetic expression gradually emerged in his eyes amidst the original rejection and disdain. Really, although the hexagram pulse is a shame of the 3 cleanliness, it has nothing to do with senior brother Wang Xiu. 800 years ago, he was not even born. Over the years, senior brother Wang Xiu has been staying on the spirit turtle peak, neither showing off and deceiving, nor pretending to be mischievous, keeping a low profile. Transferring the hatred of the hexagram pulse onto him is indeed unfair. Even considering that he has been living alone on the Lingue Peak since the age of 6, raising the hexagram flag alone, this responsibility cannot be insulted by others. Of course. Admiration comes from admiration, and reverence comes from reverence. They will definitely not go to Guamai, after all, cultivators are superstitious, and the corner of Lingue Peak is too unlucky. It is said that Lingue Peak is an ominous place cursed by the heavenly Tao. Anyone who is related to it will have bad luck and suffer from a bloody disaster. This kind of thing. Better believe in its existence than in its absence. Senior brother, I want to join the hexagram pulse. Over here. The disciples of various branches had just shown some sympathy towards Wang Xiushen, but were completely erased by the girl's next sentence. Looking at the innocent and pure girl on her face, as pure as a lotus in water, she looked at the hexagram pulse and Wang Xiu with a longing expression on her face. Countless hearts were shattered. Think about it. This pure girl, after several years of cultivation in the hexagram meridian, wears a black coat, holds a hexagram sail that pretends to be divine and mischievous, and says, "You have an ominous omen, a great ominous omen." Picture, don't be too shattered. Junior sister, calm down. Guamai Tianken, Tianken. Junior sister, let's make a price. As long as you don't join the hexagram, I can do anything. Linger junior sister is about to be abducted by the hexagram pulse. Hurry up and invite master brother, he's bragging so much that he won't be able to make it too late. Looking at Jiang Linger with a firm gaze, a serious face, and no joking at all, Wang Xiu felt a bit confused and said, "Are you going to join the hexagram pulse?" Jiang Linger. Wang Xiu couldn't help but laugh and cry, "What are you drawing?" The girl's face was full of innocence. "Take a picture of purity." Hiss. "That's really not a problem. There are only 2 people on the entire peak, can it not be pure?" Taking out the yellowed volunteer form from the storage bag, Wang Xiu smiled and said, "Fill out the application form for entering the meridian, then sign and fingerprint. After the process is completed, you will be the person with the hexagram meridian. Say it." He looked at the other branch disciples with a face full of sadness and anger, and a face full of sincerity. "To be honest, I don't want to take her either, but according to the rules of the sect, choosing a branch is completely democratic. So, while this girl hasn't signed yet, what advantages do your major branches have? Quickly boast. Say, it won't be too late." Hiss, that makes sense, senior brother Wang Xiu is right. Now, sister Jiang is completely impulsive and wants to join the hexagram meridian, which is completely irrational. As long as she truly understands how much advantage other branches have compared to hexagrams, she will definitely change her mind. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. The Holy Maiden of Jiuli, Her Powerful Residual Soul. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. The Holy Maiden of Jiuli, Her Powerful Residual Soul. Think of it here. Each disciple blushed and began to introduce the core competitiveness of their own branch. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana +6. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana +6. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana +6. Yes. That's right. Blow them all to death for me. Blow it well, only junior sister will like it. My ZZ time passes by minute by second. Soon. Jiang Linger filled out the application form in her hand and pressed her fingerprint. Senior brother, it's done. The girl looked expectant and said, "Are we going to Lingue Peak now?" Hiss. Suddenly. The disciples of other branches were all anxious, eagerly looking at Wang Xiu. If this process is completed, Shulingling's junior sister will fall into the super big pit of the hexagram pulse, and she won't be able to pull it out. It's not urgent. Wang Xiu glanced at the anxious disciples and said, "The recruitment conference is not over yet. I'm taking you to Lingue Peak now. If anyone else wants to register, what if I'm not here? Isn't it affecting others' apprenticeship? Fu my disciple. E my disciple. Sword pulse disciple. Senior brother, where did you get your confidence? What is the current situation with the hexagram pulse? Don't you understand? Jiang Linger is such a silly and cute girl. Meeting one can be considered as burning high incense. Do you still want to meet a second one? Just when everyone was speechless. In their ears, Wang Xiu's confidential voice rang out, "What are you still waiting for? Today's recruitment conference is almost over, and I can only delay for half an hour at most. Now let Sister Jiang change her mind, the application form can still be withdrawn. If it is submitted to the archives department, it will be troublesome to follow the process. The branch advantage you mentioned before is not awesome enough. Just a little more exaggeration, even if you boast too much. In order to save a young junior sister who is about to go astray, you must work hard." The disciples looked at Wang Xiu, only to see that his face was full of righteousness, without any desire for the beauty of his junior sister. He was close to the water and had the lewd thought of winning the moon first. "Senior brother Wang, you are indeed a gentleman and a role model for us. Unfortunately, if he were not a disciple of the hexagram lineage, there would surely be countless ambitious people willing to drink with him and even form a friendship with him. However, the focus now is not on this. Senior brother Wang finally managed to secure half an hour for us. Even if we blow the bull's edge, we still need to make junior sister change her mind. For a while. The new round of boasting competition has begun, and even attracted several disciples from other branches, making it a lively and unique event. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana +6. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana +6. Ding, detected someone boasting, congratulations to the host for gaining mana +6. Feeling the increasing abundance of magic in the Dantian, Wang Xiu felt happy in her heart. However, Jiang Linger on the other side was in a miserable situation. There were countless flies buzzing around my ears, causing my brain to ache. Good guy. Joining other branches tests the compatibility of spiritual roots and intelligence. Joining the hexagram branch tests my Tao heart. Senior brother. Jiang Linger looked bitter and said, "They are so talkative and annoying." Wang Xiu smiled and took out another handful of fragrant melon seeds from his pocket, stuffing them into Jiang Linger's hand. "They are also for your own good. It's not bad to listen more," he said. "Even if you really make up your mind to join the hexagram meridian, you still need to learn more about the advantages and characteristics of other branches. After all, the Sanqing immortal sect is a big family. There are 30.6 branches and 30.6 flowers. 36 brothers and sisters are a family. Come on, listen while munching on melon seeds, don't worry." Oh, looking at Wang Xiu with a smile on her face and seemingly not feeling the chatter of her fellow disciples around her, Jiang Linger nodded blankly. At the same time, "Auntie," he murmured in his heart, "he's so calm, is this what Taoism calls the highest goodness like water?" With this thought rising in her heart, the jade bell on Jiang Linger's wrist shook slightly, and a wave of mental waves could only be heard by Jiang Linger. Maybe it is. Or maybe it's just a pure good temper. Anyway, for you today, the hexagram pulse is the best choice. Although other branches are thriving, there are too many strong ones, and now I just need to show my head. It's very likely that those old guys will find out. I asked you to only show your top quality water spirit root qualifications, but I'm also worried that your qualifications will be too strong and attract attention. As for the little guy, Guamai, even if I stand in front of him, he can't possibly notice that it's very safe for us. In addition, this kid has been preventing you from entering the hexagram, so he can be considered a righteous gentleman. You can get closer to him in the future, at least he won't harm you." Jiang Linger nodded slightly and said, "Good aunt, I understand now. Join the hexagram pulse." Although it sounds like a pit, she has an ant covering her up, which is a powerful residual soul, enough to teach her how to practice. There are more. The senior brother Wang Xiu from Guamai is really super good. Looking Be closer to him more. Hey hee hee, hee 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 hee, hee hee, hee hee. Half an hour passed in an instant. Other disciples from various branches ultimately failed to persuade Jiang Linger to turn the tide and turn back to shore. On the contrary, it was Wang Xiu. In this wave after wave of pressure, the strength of the ship has risen, as if the cultivation of the three heavenly foundations has been completely consolidated. Even the fourth day of foundation construction is already within reach, and one day's mana growth is even stronger than the previous 10 days. Senior brother. Jiang Linger put away the melon seed shells in her hand and said, the other branches have already closed their stalls. It's time for us to return to the Spirit Turtle Peak too. Is that right? Wang Xiu looked at the other branches, but saw that the sunset was setting in the west, and the disciples who should have been collected from the other branches had already been gathered, and indeed the stalls had been closed. Wang Xiu sighed as she looked at the other branch disciples who still had a deep pain expression on their faces. Given the opportunity, you can't even seize it. Senior brothers, please. Wang Xiu whispered into the secret and said, I won't go to the archives department for the files of Linger Jr. sister. Tomorrow, I will bring her to seek advice from Dao Feng, and you can advise her again. Call out your brothers who are the best at promoting and boasting in your branch. I can only achieve this level at most. Say it. Wang Xiu offered the Xuanwu mirror, a magical tool that became the size of a grinding disc, and took Jiang Linger's hand to break through the air. Like a couple of gods and immortals, emerging from the mortal world. Watching the two of them leave behind and the disciples of the various branches on the Chiodao Peak, a thought couldn't help but arise in their hearts. Senior brother Wang Xiu is so righteous and kind-hearted. If it weren't for the pitfalls in the hexagram meridian, with the behavior of my senior brother, even if Linger Jr.'s sister really joined the hexagram meridian, she might even be with him. It is indeed a perfect match of talent and beauty, admirable and willing to bow down. It's just a pity. The hexagram pulse is really too pitted. No way. Tomorrow, we must call out the most boastful senior brothers in our branch. We must save Sister Jiang. The hexagram pulse has already tricked senior brother Wang Xiu, who is such a good person. We must never let junior sister Jiang be imprisoned again. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Ming Emperor's Prison Control Scripture, Who is Bragging? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Ming Emperor's Prison Control Scripture, Who is Bragging? Lingui Peak. Yingling Temple. This was originally the place where the hexagram vessels were used to enshrine ancestral tablets from various dynasties. 800 years ago. After the calamity of the Sanqing immortal sect, the head of the hexagram vessel sat for 100 days in the ancestral temple, carving over 100,000 heroic tablets with one's own hands. Afterwards, the oil runs out and the lamp withers, turning into ash. In such a place, even if one is as cynical as Wang Xiu, their expression is extremely solemn and serious, without any hint of neglect or disrespect. Jiang Linger. Wang Xiu held the jade seal of the inheritance of the hexagram pulse and said seriously, have you really considered joining my Sanqing immortal sect, under the Lingui Peak hexagram pulse? For the rest of my life, it is my responsibility to guard the right and ward off evil, and to slay demons and eliminate demons. Defend the right and ward off evil. Slash demons and eliminate them. Looking at the solemn Wang Xiu, Jiang Linger's expression became serious and she said seriously, I remember that for the rest of my life, I will uphold righteousness and ward off evil, slay demons and eliminate demons, and remain steadfast in my determination. Wang Xiu nodded slightly and said, I haven't submitted your application form to the archives department yet. You can retrieve it any time you change your mind in the next 3 days. The small courtyard on the left side of the Yingling Temple was originally inhabited by the master. Just clean up a bit and you can move in directly. But don't sleep in the main room, that's where the master used to sleep. You can choose between the east and west rooms as you please. Say it. Wang Xiu turned around and left without any intention of getting close. The reason is very simple. Since the age of 6, Wang Xiu has been living alone, and during this period, there were also new disciples who became interested in the hexagram. However, these disciples often stay in the hexagram for less than 3 to 5 days, arguing and changing branches, and the longest stay is only half a month. There's no way. This vast Lingui peak is desolate and lonely. Every night, the strong wind howls like ghosts crying and wolves howling, and the nearby heroic spirit temple is adorned with hundreds of thousands of plaques, swaying with light and shadow. Not many people can withstand this stimulation. Over time, Wang Xiu had already lost hope for the new junior brothers and sisters. In Wang Xiu's view, a delicate girl like Jiang Linger probably won't be able to hold on for a few days. Since she has to leave sooner or later, there is no need to invest in emotions. Otherwise, if the relationship gets too close, both parties will feel uncomfortable when parting ways. Leave the Yingling temple and return to your own courtyard. Sacrifice. Sitting in a closed and secret room, Wang Xiuqiao struck out various spells from all directions. Suddenly, a series of blue and black lights filled the air, evolving into a huge lotus platform that enveloped the entire secret chamber. Qinglian covers the sky formation. The inheritance of the formation of the Sanqing immortal sect Yuhua Peak is a hidden formation that can block the exploration of cultivators' spiritual consciousness and absorb the fluctuations of spiritual energy within the formation. It was Wang Xiu who accidentally heard about the disciples of the formation and boasted and forced them to burst out. The perfect level Qinglian sky-covering formation, even if the divine consciousness of the primordial infant period venerable sweeps over, it is extremely difficult to find any clues. System. List the critical strike rewards obtained in the past few days. Shu. As Wang Xiu finished speaking, golden rays flew out of his body and turned into cards in front of him. Mighty dragon subduing demon golden body, the skilled martial artist who listened to the brag of a broken stone in his chest obtained a critical strike, which was the demon-slaying power of the great diamond temple. For symbols guardian and demon-slaying formation, the ultimate formation of the Sanqing immortal sect was obtained from the critical strike of the disciples who were boasting and forcing. How to say it? The probability of blowing, forcing, and critically striking is very mysterious. Sometimes listening to street vendors and martial artists boasting about their prowess can trigger critical strike rewards. Sometimes, listening to cultivators boasting all day in Qudefeng, even if they can't trigger 2 critical strikes, it's completely up to you. Integrate the powerful heavenly dragon demon subduing golden body. Wang Xiu's words fell, and the card representing the powerful heavenly dragon's demon subduing golden body directly integrated into her body. Next second, his clothes shattered directly, and his originally fair skin was instantly shrouded in a golden light, as if it had been forged from refined real gold. At the chest, a golden majestic dragon tattoo is condensed, with teeth and claws waving vividly, emitting an aura that intimidates evil spirits. At this moment, Wang Xiu's mastery of the magical power of the great dragon subdues the demon golden body has reached a perfect level. He slowly clenched his fist, feeling a tremendous force surging up and down his body, making him feel uncomfortable and unable to resist the urge to vent. Looking at the wall of the closed room, Wang Xiu punched loudly. Ong! The golden dragon at the chest seemed to have been activated, and surprisingly, it shot out along Wang Xiu's fist from virtual to solid, crashing into the wall with a loud impact. Next second, the wall covered in defensive formations was unexpectedly blasted into a spiral-like pit by this golden dragon. The power of this punch is comparable to that of the 9 heavenly strongers full-force strike. Wang Xiu murmured inwardly. Undoubtedly, it is the renowned demon-slaying power of the great Vajra temple, with not only strong defense but also such sharp attacks. Except that once deployed, it will definitely explode and be a bit of a waste of fabric. This unique skill has almost no other shortcomings and is enough to serve as Wang Xiu's trump card. Of course, unless the situation was urgent, Wang Xiu would not have used it. After all, a disciple of the Sanqing immortal sect, who has demonstrated the unique skills of the Great Diamond Temple and is at the level of perfection. It is difficult to explain to the public and can easily lead to diplomatic disputes. You should know that even in the Great Diamond Temple, there are only a few who can cultivate this divine skill to the perfect level. Integrating the 4 symbols to guard and eliminate evil formation. Jin Guang integrated into Wang Xiu's body, instantly causing him to have a massive amount of information in his mind, all about the experience of the 4 symbols guarding and killing evil formation. At this point, he seemed to have studied this formation for decades, centuries, and thousands of years, and had a clear understanding of all the intricacies of this formation. As long as he is given enough materials, he can easily arrange this formation. Of course, the quality of materials varies, and the power of the final formation will also vary greatly. A perfect formation can only achieve its best under the same conditions. The harvest is still very rich. Wang Xiu grinned and couldn't help feeling happy in her heart. To avoid and hide, there is a green lotus covering the sky array, a kite suppressing 4 elephant guarding and killing evil formation, a powerful heavenly dragon subduing demon golden body in close combat, and a Xuanwu mirror in long-range attacks. At this moment, although the cultivation level is only in the triple heaven of building foundations, even when encountering the peak of the 9 heavens of building foundations, or even weaker beings in the pill-forming period, they may not lack the power of World War I. Brother, now he can be considered a genius even if he is careless. At this moment, in Wang Xiu's mind, a system prompt sound suddenly sounded. Ding, detected someone nearby boasting wildly, triggered a critical blow, reaching the system's high slot. Congratulations to the host for gaining mana plus 233 and mana quality plus 233. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the perfect experience card of the Underworld Emperor's Prison Sutra. Ming Emperor's Prison Control Sutra. Inherited by the Supreme Master of the Ghost Way, it has a super strong suppression effect on the creatures of the Ghost Way, and has been cultivated to the extreme. It has the great power to control the 9 Yuhuang Spring and suppress the boundless purgatory. Wang Xiu. Feeling the sudden surge of magical power in the Dantian, Wang Xiu's cultivation level was directly pushed from the triple heaven of building foundation to the 4th heaven, leaving her completely bewildered. Good guy. Who is bragging? This is bragging so much, damn it. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Order of the Heavenly Way and the Origin of the True Demon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Order of the Heavenly Way and the Origin of the True Demon. Time goes back a moment ago. After Wang Xiu left, Jiang Linger went alone to the orchid courtyard on the left side of the Yingling Temple. This courtyard seems to have been uninhabited for a long time, but the cleanliness of the rooms is very clean, and the furniture does not accumulate much dust. Even the chlorophytum comosum beside the carving fence is growing well. It is obvious that someone takes care of it regularly. Sacrifice. Jiang Linger shook the jade bell in her hand, played the magic formula, and suddenly a clear light flew out of the jade bell, enveloping the western wing and isolating her divine sense from the detective. Continuing. Waves of white smoke rose from the jade bell, gradually condensing into a figure. This is a woman. The body is very tall, more than 7 feet tall, with plump and snow-white long legs, and a slender waist that is tightly grasped. The shirt is almost torn open, making people unable to resist fighting spirit at a glance. Especially. This woman's attire and attire are not as bold as those from the Central Plains, many times more daring. A golden leopard skin short skirt wrapped around her beautiful buttocks and half of her thighs, while her upper body was draped in a pure white ferret robe, giving her a graceful and luxurious appearance. During the dance of the robe, a large expanse of snow-white occasionally appeared, which can be said to be charming and charming, making people stand without hesitation. Jiang Yurong. The last saint of the Jiuli immortal sect, the most stunning and unparalleled Tianjiao 800 years ago. Renowned as a goddess once in 4,000 years in southern Xinjiang. Unfortunately, in that war, the entire Jiuli immortal sect was annihilated by the army of the demon clan, and Jiang Yurong was also besieged by more than 10 old demons during the period of leaving the body, ultimately dying and disappearing. Only half a wisp of residual soul escaped, sleeping in the Yunshan Bell for hundreds of years. It was not until a few years ago that Jiang Yurong was awakened by Jiang Linger, who was digging wild vegetables in the mountains to satisfy her hunger, and discovered that her body contained extremely pure Jiuli bloodline, which was then taken into her family. However, with only half a wisp of soul left, she was extremely weak, unable to even maintain 1,000th of her peak strength. Even if she tried her best, she could only kill the cultivator during the foundation building period. Therefore, in order to help Jiang Linger, the only surviving descendant of the Jiuli immortal sect, grow up smoothly, she resolutely decided to take Jiang Linger to join the Sanqing immortal sect. Linger. Jiang Yurong floated in mid-air, looking dignified and dignified. I was worried about getting started with the test, so I only taught you the basic breathing method, not the advanced techniques. However, since you have passed the introductory assessment and successfully entered the hexagram meridian, there is no need to avoid anything in this rarely visited Lingui peak. Say it. Jiang Yurong's face showed a sense of pride as he dominated the world. Today, I will teach you the most powerful martial art of the Jiuli immortal sect, the Jiuli soul refining classic, which is passed down by the Jiuli immortal sect. As is well known, most ghost cultivators in the world sacrifice and refine human souls, devour human souls for cultivation, or use human souls to sacrifice and refine magical tools. Although they can achieve twice the result with half the effort, they will be contaminated with a large amount of demonic energy. Moreover, in the practice of devouring human souls, one will inevitably inhale others' grievances. The stronger the strength, the more complex the soul will be, and ultimately the mind will collapse. Our sect's 9Li soul refining classic is different. Emphasis is placed on sacrificing and refining demon souls, cultivating them into life soul pets, driving soul pets to devour other demon souls and grow stronger. At the same time, pure source magic is extracted to nourish oneself. Not only does it not require devouring human souls or being infected with demonic energy, but there is also no risk of mental collapse. It is an absolute inheritance of the strongest ghost path. Sacrificing and refining demon souls. Jiang Linger was slightly stunned and scratched her head, asking, Master, but sacrificing and refining demon souls also requires devouring the souls of the demon race. Why, devouring human souls is the path of evil demons, while devouring demon souls is the path of righteousness. Jiang Yurong rolled his eyes and said, Because you are human. Those who are not of our race will have different hearts. The heavenly way divides the living beings in the world into 10,000 tribes, establishes the order of the heavens, rewards those who abide by the order, and punishes those who violate the order. Killing one's own clan goes against the order of the heavenly way, and cannibalism among the same clan is even more unacceptable. Violating the order of the heavenly way will generate demonic energy, which is the origin of demonic cultivation. Jiang Linger pondered and said, That's to say, if the demon tribe kills humans and refines their souls into puppet magical tools, then it does not violate the order of the heavenly way. Jiang Yurong nodded slightly and said, Yes. Heaven and earth are inhumane, and all things are the cud dogs. The law of the jungle is natural. The demon race cannibals not only do not absorb demonic energy, but can also absorb essence, blood, and soul to increase cultivation. Therefore, since ancient times, there have been evil demons and cannibals, and in some wilderness areas, there may even be large demons raising humans as blood food. In Jiang Yurong's eyes, a strong killing intent shot out. Of course. Although the demon race cannibals will not be contaminated with demonic aura, killing and eating demons by the human race will also not be contaminated with demonic aura. Even if you kill a demon race, it will be harmful to the human race. The heavenly way will also give rewards, which is known as merit. Merit plays a significant role. It can counteract demonic energy, increase cultivation, improve qualifications, and even claim that individuals with extremely high merits will receive protection from the heavenly way, resulting in a significant increase in their chi luck. Otherwise, why do you think all the immortal sects are shouting every day to defend themselves and ward off evil, and to slay demons and eliminate demons? Slash the demon. Killing an external threat. Exorcism. Except for internal worries. As for the part of the demon race that cannibalizes and generates demonic energy, such as the demon tiger that devours tigers, the demon dragon that devours dragons, the immortal sect of the human race is also able to kill without fail. After all, you even devour your fellow race. Can you still expect to show mercy to the human race? It's better to make a mistake than to let go. Anyway, there is merit in eliminating demons, and demon corpses can also refine pills and weapons. Killing them is earning. Anyway. Jiang Yurong looked at Jiang Linger seriously and said, "Don't empathize with demons and evil spirits, let alone have any thoughts that the human race is more evil than demons. People with this kind of idea, in that chaotic era 800 years ago, my human race would kill them first." Watching Jiang Yurong's murderous expression, Jiang Linger nodded seriously and said, "If you are not of our race, your heart will be different. Refining demon souls and guarding the human race, Linger understands." Looking at Jiang Linger's honest and straightforward demeanor, Jiang Yurong nodded with satisfaction. Although in times of chaos, kill the Virgin Mary first. However, many young girls and teenagers have experienced confusion like Jiang Linger, and even when Jiang Yurong was a child, she had similar confusion. Just twist it right. All right. Jiang Yurong smiled and said, "Without further ado, I will now pass on the initial chapter of your Jiuli soul refining classic. The Soul Summoning Mantra. The so-called Soul Summoning Mantra. That is to summon nearby demon souls and select suitable ones as your soul pet backup." Quickly, Jiang Yurong imparted all the essence of the soul summoning mantra to Jiang Linger. However, this spell doesn't seem simple. Soul returns. Soul returns. Soul returns. Jiang Linger summoned her soul several times in a row, and her forehead was already sweating profusely, but she didn't even summon a demon soul. "Don't worry." Jiang Yurong smiled and said, "Although the soul summoning mantra is only the initial chapter of the Jiuli soul refining classic, it is also profound and extensive. It is normal for an ordinary cultivator to be unable to enter for several years. Your spiritual cultivation aptitude is outstanding, comparable to me back then. If nothing unexpected happens, you can get started within 3 days. Maintain a calm mind and don't rush." However, the next second after she finished her comforting words, the breath near the spirit turtle peak. It has changed. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Emperor Ming's Prison Control, Night Journey of 100 Ghosts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Emperor Ming's Prison Control, Night Journey of 100 Ghosts in an instant. The rich and extreme yin qi surged towards the spirit turtle peak like a stormy wave, and in an instant, formed a yin qi vortex with a diameter of thousands of meters. In the whirlpool of yin qi, there are dense and overwhelming green light, with tens of thousands of clusters. That is the soul light of nearby beasts and monsters. How could it be? Looking at the thousands of yin qi whirlpool, looking at the densely packed demon beast souls in that whirlpool. Even if it were Jiang Yurong, not only would her scalp be numb. At this level of ghost tide, Jiang Yurong, who was at her peak, naturally wouldn't take it seriously. The problem is that she is just a residual soul now. In that vortex. Although 99% of them are the souls of ordinary wild beasts, and the strongest ones are only comparable to the 2 or 3 heavenly heavens of building a foundation, they cannot withstand a large number, with tens of thousands of regiments. Linger. Jiang Yurong swallowed his saliva and said, "Did you bring in these ghosts?" Gulu the girl in green swallowed her saliva and was almost scared to tears. "I won't make it. Auntie, I have summoned the soul, what should we do next? With so many soul pets, can we use them all? Jiang Yurong. _. Can you use up all the divine special cats? Who has a soul pet and can raise tens of thousands of special cats? She vaguely remembers. When I successfully summoned my soul for the first time, I called in 2 or 3 little ghosts, all of whom were cats and dogs. It can only be considered as a beast soul, not even crossing the threshold of a demon. Linger, this girl is good. She has brought in a small beast-tied organization. Are you preparing to capture Lingue Peak? So many demon souls. If the riot is not handled properly, the entire Lingue Peak will probably be flattened, and Wang Xiu and Linger will both be torn apart. It seems that we can only burn soul power and fight against them. Jiang Yurong's eyes flashed with determination. She now only has a wisp of residual soul left. If she continues to burn her soul power, as long as she is not careful enough, her soul may be shattered and she will never be able to recover. But nowadays, there is only Jiang Linger, a descendant of the Jiuli immortal sect. Even if it is dangerous, she must not let Jiang Linger have any accidents. However, just as Jiang Yurong was on high alert, ready to fight against these demon souls at any time, an accident occurred. As the demon soul army approached the spirit turtle peak, their soul bodies began to shake violently, as if trembling with extreme fear. Are they bowing down? Jiang Yurong swallowed his saliva and looked at the soul bodies arranged in circles around the small courtyard. Feeling horrified in my heart. That courtyard is where Wang Xiu lives. That kid doesn't look like he's hiding, how could he attract so many demon souls? And it can also be suppressed to this extent. It is said that the hexagram meridian is best at pretending to be divine and playing tricks on ghosts. Is this how you play tricks on ghosts? So what is that? Just as Jiang Yurong was horrified in his heart, a blue lotus formation appeared in the courtyard where Wang Xiu was located, as if it had been stretched open by something. Cracks appeared on the petals and then exploded into pieces. Continuing. A vision of the Weian Dark Emperor, towering over 100 zhang high, appeared in the courtyard, completely dark and shrouded in chains of order, exuding the aura of death. At the feet of this vision of the Dark Emperor, layers of purgatory shadows appeared, and countless ferocious ghost kings struggled and roared. However, even though they emit tremendous power, they still have no effect at all. The Hell Emperor treads on purgatory, as if there are countless small worlds to bless and suppress it, making the layers of purgatory as stable as Mount Tai. At the same time, a majestic momentum, centered around the small courtyard where Wang Xiu was located, was unleashed in all directions. Boom! In an instant, Jiang Yurong's flower expression faded. I feel like my whole body is heavy, as if it's pressing down on mountains. Deep in the soul, I couldn't help but feel the thoughts of fear, trembling, and bowing in reverence, wanting to crawl in front of this vision like a loyal dog. How could it be? I am a powerful residual soul. Although I only have the strength to build the foundation now, even if the power comes, it is impossible for me to have the thought of bowing from the depths of my heart. What exactly is this kid from? Where did you learn the abnormal methods? Hold on. Even if you die, hold on. If you kneel down to this kid, where will your face go in the future? What face will you have to teach Linger to cultivate? On the other side, Jiang Linger didn't feel too much pressure. At this moment, her eyes were only surprised. Auntie, look, those demon souls are kneeling in the courtyard of senior brother Chao Wangxiu. Auntie, why did you kneel down too? Jiang Yorong's mouth twitched and said, I just feel like I'm floating in the sky, quite tired, that. Kneeling on the ground feels much more comfortable. Boom. Cough, lying on the ground is more comfortable. Don't worry about me, why are you watching me? Take advantage of all those demon souls being suppressed now and choose a pleasing one to subdue. Jiang Linger nodded obediently and said, Oh. But Auntie, you only taught me the soul summoning curse and haven't taught me how to refine soul pets yet. Jiang Yorong. On the other side. Wang Xiu was also not feeling well at this time, and the power of the Ming Emperor's Prison Control Classic exceeded his expectations. Originally, after obtaining the experience card of the perfect level, Dark Emperor's Prison Control Classic, Wang Xiu wanted to test her condition and tried to cast the Soul Trapping Curse in the Prison Control Classic. Result. Just a simple, soul-binding curse will empty Wang Xiudan's field with over 70% of her mana. You should know. Although Wang Xiu is only building a foundation in the four heavens, after multiple critical strike rewards, his mana quality is much higher than that of ordinary cultivators of the same level, with one level being even stronger than 6 levels. However, even so, I was almost knocked out by this spell, and my mana consumption was almost on the charts. However, the effect is also incredibly strong. With such a massive army, it was directly arrested. If combined with a large formation for joint attacks, it would be easy to encircle and kill the powerful enemy at the peak of the Dan formation period. Unfortunately, the mana is exhausted and cannot be controlled. Praise my true name, to see eternal life, to be reborn for eternity, to hold 9 secluded prisons. Sacrifice. Wang Xiu stuffed a few Buyuan pills into her mouth to fill the almost depleted mana, and then formed a seal with both hands in the air, drawing an incredibly obscure and mysterious spell seal. Shoo. The next second, these curse marks flew like shooting stars, shooting into the bodies of 5 huge demon souls. The demon soul, which was originally trembling violently, instantly became calm. The soul light, which was several zhang high, was also slowly compressing, gradually turning into 5 fist-sized soul eggs. Wang Xiu walked out of the yard and held 5 soul eggs in her arms. Continuing. Bite your right index finger and press it down on the ground. Heaven and earth are natural, the filth is dispersed, the grandeur endures, and the ferocity dissolves the soup. Scatter. The remaining mana in Wang Xiu's dantian was instantly depleted. Continuing. The Dark Emperor's vision in mid-air slowly sat cross-legged, his hands imprinted, and a huge pressure tilted away. In an instant. The scene of 100 ghosts walking at night and 10,000 beasts without reins, which was originally still dark and gloomy, as if the end of the world had descended, dissipated like ice and water, dissipating in just a few breaths. Who? Wang Xiu finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, near the Sanqing immortal sect, there are disciples who regularly clean up monsters, so they won't grow to too strong a level. Otherwise, his wave of soul summoning spells not only attracts demon souls during the chi refining and foundation building periods, but may also directly deplete his magical power and summon dirty things from the alchemy and even the golden pill periods. At that time, he may not be able to hold on to the situation even though his mana is depleted. This soul-binding curse should be used as little as possible in the future. Develop a mindset. Wang Xiu wiped away the cold sweat from her forehead and walked leisurely towards the small courtyard where Jiang Linger was. I had originally planned to use the Qinglian sky covering array to isolate the supernatural, but who would have thought that the Ming Emperor's prison control scripture was so powerful that even the Qinglian sky covering array was burst. There are still tens of thousands of ghosts haunted in the middle of the night. The little girl is probably scared. It's good if you're scared. Let her change her branch as soon as possible, so as not to change it after officially starting, and she also needs to visit the archives department a few more times. With the mentality that more is better than less, Wang Xiu walked into the orchid courtyard with a smile, thinking that she would see a little girl with a panicked face and rain on her face. However, at the moment he pushed open the door, what caught his eye was a leopard print princess lying on the ground, disheveled in clothes, with a sexy figure that made people's nostrils bleed. At this point, the imperial sister was propping her hands on the ground, struggling to resist the pressure left by the underworld emperor's vision. She held her head high and looked down from Wang Xiu's perspective. Her career path was unfathomable. Hiss. Wang Xiu was slightly stunned, and her gaze gradually lit up. This. Is it possible that this fierce soul was also captured by him with a soul-restraining curse? If that's true, it's not impossible to take more risks and restrain your soul more times in the future. Don't talk about the Foundation construction period. Even if it is a soul pet in the period of pill formation, a soul pet in the period of golden pill. It's not as fragrant either. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. How dare you insult this saint, just a small generation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. How dare you insult this saint, just a small generation. So. Are you sneaking into my Sanqing immortal sect just to find a stable place for lewd development? Choose the hexagram pulse. Just because the gods hate ghosts and dislikes ghosts here, other powerful branches hardly come to visit. After a while, looking at Jiang Linger, who was full of honesty, Wang Xiu looked regretful and said, "Are you sure you didn't lie to me?" "Absolutely not." Jiang Linger quickly denied, shaking her small brain like a tambourine. To be honest, she didn't want to reveal her identity, but when senior brother Wang Xiu saw her aunt, his eyes lit up with green light, insisting that she was a top-notch soul pet. If it weren't for her quick explanation, maybe my senior brother would have refined my aunt by now. Who should she help when the time comes? Brain pain. Looking at Jiang Linger's innocent face, which didn't look like she was lying, Wang Xiu rubbed her chin and said, "Jiuli Dong Tian, the last Saint Jiang Yurong." Suddenly, Wang Xiu snatched the jade bell from Jiang Linger's hand and ran towards the small forest behind the mountain with a snort. "Stay in the yard and don't run around, wait for me to come back." Oh. Watching Wang Xiu soar away and the struggling jade bell in her hand, Jiang Linger scratched her head and said, "Senior brother, why are you running to the small forest with your aunt? Is there a secret?" However, since senior brother asked me to wait in the yard, let's wait. Anyway, senior brother, I shouldn't do anything bad to my aunt. Right. Half an hour later. A green light fell on the Lingue peak, and Wang Xiu threw the jade bell back to Jiang Linger. He smiled and said, "I have already reported to my master. You will stay at Lingue Peak in the future. Linger junior sister, if you need any help in your future life, feel free to let me know." "You're welcome." "Say it." Wang Xiu walked towards her small courtyard with a bright smile. Only Jiang Linger stood still in place, with a bewildered expression on her face. "Auntie, what's the situation?" "Soul faint. Soul faint. Soul faint." The radiance of the jade bell swayed, and Jiang Yurong's sexy and charming figure reappeared, with a face full of shame and anger. "Bullying people too much, that little bastard, how could he insult me so much?" At this point, Jiang Yurong seemed to have endured a great shame and humiliation, and even his soul couldn't help but fluctuate violently. "Not even my apprentice. Jiuli Saint, is that all?" Recalling the mocking sounds emanating from the grave, Jiang Yurong trembled with anger and his gaze was cold. That plain words hurt so much. Hexagram pulse. Luo Binglan. Damn it. Back in the day when I was plucking peacock feathers in Jiuli Cave, I was chased by a girl from several streets by this place. How dare I now humiliate me like this? Bullying people too much. Bullying people too much. The hexagram pulse is simply deceiving people too much. On Lingoe Peak, there are new members who seem to be able to stay for a long time. This night, Wang Xiu slept very comfortably, and when she woke up, she felt comfortable all over, even the Ling Tai was much clearer and cleaner. At the end of the day, human beings are ultimately social animals, and having a little companion around them is always good. Good morning, senior brother. Pushing open the courtyard gate, Jiang Linger greeted her with a smile like a flower and said, "Senior brother, can you take me to stroll around Lingoe Peak?" Strolling. Accompanying my junior sister on the road, how can I feel the fragrance of brushing a brush? Wang Xiu smiled and shook her head. No, you have to go with me to seek Daofeng. Seeking Dao Peak. The smile on Jiang Linger's face instantly solidified. The thought of those other disciples from her branch, who were chattering and boasting, made her scalp tingle. Senior brother, can we not go? Looking at Jiang Linger with a bitter gourd face, Wang Xiu smiled and said, "You don't want to see your aunt either. She has been refined into a pet." Jiang Linger. Haha. Wang Xiu smiled and patted Jiang Linger's head, saying, "I'm joking. But since I promised other branches to persuade you again, I can't break my promise. And the recruitment conference has only ended today. If there are really other disciples who want to join the hexagram pulse, don't miss it." Hee hee. Jiang Yurong rolled his eyes. Just the style of the hexagram pulse and the stinky mouth of Luo Binglan. There are ghosts that can attract talents. However, despite roast in his heart, Jiang Yurong did not dare to be brave. After all, the disciple Luo Binglan received is too cult. Although their cultivation level is not high, the techniques they cultivate have a super suppression effect on their soul bodies, which is even more terrifying than their 9ly immortal sects soul refining classic. In front of him, Jiang Yurong is such a powerful residual soul, just like a toy. It's like kneading whenever you want, kneading whenever you want, kneading whenever you want, kneading whenever you want, and kneading whenever you want. No dignity to talk about. She now seriously doubts whether the choice of bringing Jiang Linger to the hexagram was wrong from the beginning. Don't worry. Just as Jiang Yurong was doubting life, Wang Xiu smiled and said, "I won't let you work for nothing. I'll give you a soul pet from the foundation building period." Hiss. As soon as Wang Xiu finished speaking, Jiang Linger and Jiang Yurong's eyes lit up. You should know. The combat effectiveness of cultivators from the Jiuli immortal sect is closely related to their own soul pets. Jiang Linger's current cultivation level is only in the 8 heavenly realms of qi refining. If she can truly refine the soul pet during the foundation building period, it will be of great help to her future cultivation and combat effectiveness. After listening to a day of nagging, you can switch to a top-notch soul pet during the foundation building period, which is so cost-effective. When Wang Xiu brought Jiang Linger to Chodao Peak, the stall where the hexagram meridian is located has long been surrounded by people, and the disciples of several nearby branches are preparing to use Machuan to wipe their mouths. Senior brother, Jiang Linger's mouth collapsed at that time. The tearful expression on Wang Xiu's face made people couldn't help but feel pity, but unfortunately, in order to push and upgrade, she had already decided not to be a human. Soul egg, for the sake of Soul Egg's face, just endure and pass by. Say it. Wang Xiumei sat down happily at the guamai stall, took out a large handful of melon seeds from her pocket, and knocked them up. Senior brothers, you can start bragging. Advise junior sister. Jiang Linger. Jiang Yurong. Disciples of each branch. On the western border of Jinwu, the moon rabbit rises to the east. A day is fleeting. When the afterglow of the sunset fades away on the horizon, the triennial recruitment conference is finally coming to an end. After a day of hard work, Wang Xiu's cultivation has once again climbed a new level. Build a foundation in the 5 heavens. Of course, all gifts given by fate are secretly priced. The price for Wang Xiu's promotion to level 3 in 2 days was that Jiang Linger was being nagged by the disciples of the surrounding major branches, making everyone numb. At the end of the day, the whole person was gasping, as if they had lost hope for cultivation. Closing the stall. Go home. Seeing that most of the other branches around him had already closed down, the remaining few Iron Master brothers, although still trying to persuade Jiang Linger, couldn't come up with any new ideas. The patterns were repetitive and the routines were boring, and even the system rewards could not be triggered anymore. Wang Xiu finally decided to take his junior sister home. Suddenly, Jiang Linger was moved to the point where tears were about to fall. This soul egg earns. Too difficult to provoke. Pack up your stall. Returning to Lingue Peak with Jiang Linger, Wang Xiu was preparing to pack up and rest when suddenly her gaze narrowed and a smile appeared on her face. He imprinted his hands. 5 different colored rays of light flew out of the body in an instant, transforming into 5 dazzling palm-shaped soul eggs. At this point, on the surface of these soul eggs, there are traces of cracking, from which brilliant lights burst out. Continuing. The eggshells were completely shattered, and little things crawled out of them one by one. Hee. This Lingue Peak is becoming increasingly lively. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Recognize him as the master. Too shameful to provoke. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Recognize him as the master. Too shameful to provoke. Embryo Nirvana. It is a unique secret technique in the Ming Emperor's Prison Control Classic that can make soul pets almost reincarnate and rebirth like rebirth. This kind of rebirth has 2 benefits. 1 is purification. Since ancient times, if one wants to achieve quick success in ghost cultivation, it is inevitable to devour the souls of yin qi, sha qi, and even other creatures. If swallowed too much, it is inevitable to be contaminated with unclean impurities and contaminate one's soul. Even if the ninely refining demon classic takes a different approach, it can tame soul pets, let them act as filters, filter out impurities, and feed back the purest soul power and magic to oneself. But as a soul pet that serves as a filter, its soul body is inevitably contaminated, and over time, it is easy for its soul to collapse. Of course. In the ninely refining demon classic, there is also a secret method to help soul pets cleanse their souls, but it requires an extremely painful cost. Even those in the Yuaning period have to lose a layer of skin. Therefore, before the downfall of the Jiuli immortal sect, the vast majority of disciples had to replace their soul pets time and time again. Even if they had developed feelings with soul pets, they could only watch their souls collapse and disappear. Even many emotional geniuses suffer greatly from the collapse of their soul pets, causing their hearts to be damaged and unable to recover. And the Nirvana secret technique in the Ming Emperor's Prison Control Sutra. Each time the soul pet's cultivation breakthrough occurs, it can be reborn in the purest and purest state, eliminating all impurities from yin and evil energy in other living souls. Even if it devours billions of demon souls, the soul body can still be flawless and clear. The second is transformation. Other secret methods of the ghost path will only continuously decline and become increasingly turbid as they devour the yin and evil energy and generate souls. Even if the unique secret technique of washing the soul in the ninely refining demon classic is used, the quality of the soul body will eventually be affected. But the concept of rebirth and nirvana in the Sutra of the Underworld Emperor is completely different. Every nirvana, the soul pet can not only remove impurities, but also absorb the essence of those souls that are good for you. Thus, it allows oneself to undergo transformation and sublimation. Give an example. Originally, what you tamed was just an ordinary chicken soul, but you kept devouring the fire attribute bird demon soul, making it constantly reborn into nirvana. After multiple rounds of nirvana, it may transform into the soul of the phoenix bathing in fire. If it were to devour the water attribute fish soul, after countless nirvana attempts, it may also transform into the soul of the Taishu Kunpeng. To be honest, if Jiang Yurong is willing to cooperate, let Wang Xiu refine her into a soul egg, devour the demon's soul more times, and change the egg a few times, maybe it can restore vitality faster. It's just a pity. This sister really can't let go of the burden of idols. After all, she is a noble Jiuli saint who has been pampered by Wang Xiu as her soul. She recognizes him as her master, which is too shameful to provoke. If that stinky girl from Luo Binglan knew about it, she wouldn't have laughed at her in the grave for 800 years. Previously, Wang Xiu cast a soul summoning spell, sweeping almost all the demon souls near the spirit turtle peak. Most of them are ordinary beast souls, with only a small number of small demon souls during the Qi refining period. As for the large demon souls during the foundation building period, there are only a dozen, and Wang Xiu selected 5 of them to subdue. Now, after a day of rebirth and rebirth, these 5 soul pets were reborn and reborn. Ka, the soul pet that first broke through its shell, was a snow-white rabbit, only the size of a palm, but the aura emanating from its body seemed to have reached the level of building a foundation. Linger junior sister. Wang Xiu smiled and said, I promised you a soul pet during the foundation building period. Let Senior Jiang help you refine and recognize your master. Demon soul. Most of the time, they are ignorant and lost, without spiritual intelligence. Only with profound cultivation or a chance to have another connection after death can one awaken spiritual intelligence and retrieve memories from life. Like the white rabbit demon soul in front of me. During his lifetime, his cultivation was based on the foundation period of 2 or 3 levels of heaven. After death, he was in a wandering soul state. After being reincarnated by Wang Xiu through the secret method of reincarnation, his miscellaneous thoughts were completely eliminated, and he was no different from a newborn baby. This kind of demon soul. With the help of Jiang Yurong, it was not difficult for Jiang Linger to tame it. What a lovely rabbit, thank you, senior brother. Looking at the adorable rabbit soul that was only as big as a palm, Jiang Linger's eyes were shining. If it weren't for her aunt watching from the side, she would have wished she could pick up her senior brother and give him a smack. Wang Xiu smiled slightly. Looking towards the remaining 4 soul eggs, the other 4 little ones are also about to be born. The first soul egg. Emitting a blue glow, after the eggshell was shattered, a pocket-sized green snake emerged from it, dumbfounded and not scary, but rather cute. The second soul egg. Emitting white light, after the eggshell shattered, a pocket-sized white cat emerged from it. The third soul egg. Emitting a red glow, what emerged was a chick that was shrouded in flames and emitting a scorching aura. This is the soul of the demon beast red feather chicken, which surprised Wang Xiu. Surprisingly, during the first incarnation of Nirvana, it triggered soul sublimation and evolved into a more powerful flame spirit chicken soul. The fourth soul egg. Emitting a black glow, a black little bastard emerged, with a cute and adorable little head stretching and shrinking. Everything went smoothly. Looking at the 4 soul pets floating in front of him, Wang Xiu's lips slightly raised and said, in this way, the spirits of the 4 symbols guarding the demon-slaying formation have gathered together. Actually, among the dozen or so demon souls during the foundation building period, these 4 are not the strongest. But when practicing martial arts, Taoism not only emphasizes the level of cultivation, but sometimes also emphasizes the combination of lineups to complement each other. Wang Xiu possesses the perfect level, 4 symbols guardian and evil killing formation, which can use the power of 4 divine beasts to protect herself and suppress enemies, making her a top-notch battle formation in the cultivation world. Of course, the specific amount of divine beast power that can be borrowed depends on multiple factors, and the mastery of the formation is just one aspect. Flag formation. Formation disc. Formation pattern. Formation spirit. It can increase the formation and increase the borrowed divine beast power. Try the effect. On a whim, Wang Xiu took out 4 non-attribute formation flags from the storage bag and shot them in all directions with a clang. Xiao Qing, take the east direction and leverage the power of Qinglong. With a loud roar, the miniature version of the little green snake transformed into a stream of light and directly shot into the eastern formation flag, giving rise to a rich wood attribute spiritual energy. Xiao Bai, Lai Shi's position, borrow the power of the white tiger. The pocket-sized version of the little white cat transformed into a white light, shooting into the western formation flag. In an instant, there were fierce battles and sword energy. Xiaohong, take the southern position and leverage the power of the vermilion bird. The pocket-sized version of the little turkey transforms into a red light, shooting into the southern formation flag, generating a raging fire, and perhaps due to the evolution of the soul vein, it borrows the strongest power of divine beasts. The southern Ming fire released by the vermilion bird flag is extremely scorching, emitting an incredibly pure power of killing evil, as if it can burn all the demons and evil forces in the world. Xiao He, take the north direction and leverage the power of Xuanwu. The pocket-sized version of Little Wang Ba transforms into a black light, shining into the true energy of the north. In an instant, flags on all sides hunt and sound, forming an incredibly sturdy field that envelopes the entire space. In the void. For blurry divine beasts appeared, emitting an aura that made Jiang Yorong, the great expert, unable to resist trembling. Speaking. Isn't this kid a disciple of the hexagram lineage? Why did fortune-telling and divination fail to reveal any abilities, but they were surprisingly strong in summoning souls and refining ghosts? Now. Surprisingly, it can still set up formations, and it is a top-tier formation even in the entire world of spiritual cultivation, such as the 4 symbols guarding and killing evil formation. You should know. This kind of formation that can borrow the power of the 4 elephant divine beasts, even many Yuaning period masters may not be able to successfully comprehend it. Why is this kid? His innate talent and intelligence. Is it really terrifying? End of this chapter.